You. As always, this episode is sponsored by the good folks over at Books A Million. Go on and head over, use the link in our bio, the link in our description, the link on our website. Go on and get you some discounted stuff over at booksamillion.com. They got all the newest manga that's out and about. Go on and get you a physical copy. Go and get you something to read. You go in the park, you go on a boat, you go wherever you want to do. Like, get back into it, bro. We getting physical copies again for the 2022 and onward. Them folks at Books A Million are good to us. They always got the newest manga on deck. Like I said, I'm always reading that Junji Ito, some Sailor Moon. You can get the new Chainsaw Man over there. You can get Bleach. All kinds of stuff is out and about on that website. Feel free to go on and do that. Check the link in our bio, the link in our description, the link on our website. Everywhere under the sun, we got it posted. Feel free to utilize it. Get you a discounted book. But most importantly, make sure you keep your head in the clouds. It's happening, y'all. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this episode, yo. Like, normally I start off with the, hey, howdy do, welcome to Hubtaku FM and all that. But look at the album we are reviewing today. Bro, look at this shit, bro. I'm excited. Let me get the introduction over. We can get right into the thick of things. What it does, welcome to another episode of Hubtaku FM, brought to you by your host, Vonnie, here to talk about music that's near and dear to my heart in this space. We're talking about anime. We're talking about video games. We're talking about wrestling. We're talking about city pop. We're talking about non-anime related things as well that just vibe, which is pretty much what we're going to be talking about today. I'm excited as shit for this, boy. Like, fam, I can't... I've been holding off on doing this episode for a while, but at this point, bro, I've been listening to this album so much since like DreamCon. It's only time that we got to get right into the thick of things. But most importantly, I got to make sure I calm myself. Actually, no, fuck it, because the name of the game is always make sure you keep your head in the clouds. Now, let's talk about our Lord and Savior, Kevin Parker. 2015. I spoke about this on the Beach House episode. There are a lot of good albums that came out that year. So many that are actually should be getting their own episodes. But the one that we need to speak to today is this glory right here. I'm talking about Currents by Tame Impala. Look at this shit, bro. I would take off and show y'all right now, but like, I'm not about to get naked on the stream. Y'all need to go check out my social medias. I got the Tame Impala tattoo on my arm. I've had this since a couple years now. Probably my favorite tattoo to date. I mean, it all stemmed from this album right here. I'm going to get into this, and I'm going to let y'all know. This right here is one of my favorite albums of all time from one of my favorite artists of all time. I don't even know where to begin with the backstory. I don't know where to begin with the actual album itself. I like, there's so many things I want to touch about on this, but let's start with how I got into Tame Impala. So 2015, at that time, that was when a lot of people was on the cusp of like, we was in the blog era, really. We went right deep in the middle of the blog era. A lot of those blogs were actually posting links to full-on albums for you to download illegally, which you shouldn't be doing. You should be streaming them, or you should be buying the physical copies like me. Be like me. But at that time, I downloaded a couple of them, and I was just listening. It was a whole vibe, like just listening to a lot of ones. My taste in music now has actually come from that era, a lot of it. So I forget which website it was, but one of these sites had Currents up there. And I'm a sucker for like albums that have amazing album covers. Like, first and foremost, let's look at this. Like, you got the little ball in the middle, you got the lines and everything that are squiggly and shit. I forget the gentleman who did it, but if I'm not mistaken, he's from Kentucky. Shout out to that person. I'm gonna try to link his info somewhere in the actual video. This shit right here, like the design work and everything behind it. Look at the back, like the vinyl. When you open it up, if I'm not mistaken, let's check this out. So this right here is what I actually have tattooed. I think I got that picture of me archived, but I'm gonna bring it back out just for the sake of this video. Or if I don't, just ask me and I'll show it, whatever. But fam, like, this shit is smooth, bro. Like, this right here is how you showcase your art. This right here is how you showcase an album. I hate albums that have shitty album covers, honestly. Like, those are the utmost worst. I hate every bit of them. I'm a fan of the albums that have, like, you put heart and soul into what you actually giving us. Like, put effort into that. Put money into it. Whatever it takes to make it as presentable as possible, do it. Kevin Parker gave us this, and I gotta say, man, like, ain't too many albums that could stand up to this joint, bro. Like, back when I downloaded that at that time, I think I'd only heard maybe 1 or 2 songs. I didn't listen to the full album. I only listened to 2 songs. The first one was New Person, Same Old Mistakes, which is a classic, a bop, fire. The other one I listened to, and that shit carried me for a while, was The Moment. Another one that's like, The Moment is probably, I don't know if it's my favorite song on that album. Like, my favorite song literally switches on a daily basis, but there are days where The Moment is my favorite song on that album for sure. Fast forward to 2016, I want to say. Yes, a year later, 2016. I had just lost my dad. It was a month later, and my birthday was coming up. We were going out and about, and we were going to celebrate my birthday somewhere in the Lower East Side in New York. I ended up meeting this one person who I'm now still really good friends with. Shout out to you, Rachel. We met and we started linking and talking about Tame Impala and stuff like that. And as I was having a conversation with her, like, it was moving, but at that point I was like, yeah, I should really listen to this album in full and get the full scope of what I'm playing right now. Like, for her, she was talking about how that shit, like, meant a lot to her. It was amazing. She fucked with a lot of his older stuff. And while I was following along the conversation, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should actually get this a full shot. I goes home. I goes and plays the album from front to finish. I started off with Let It Happen, the very first song. And at that point, I'm like, I'm in for a ride. This shit about to be crazy, boy. Let's talk about this track listing. So the very first one, if I'm not mistaken, is actually Let It Happen. Let It Happen then transfers into Nangs. From Nangs, you get The Moment, which is, again, one of my favorites. And by the way, I've seen Tame Impala live twice now. And both times, those have probably been considered the 2 best concerts I've ever been to in my life. This man knows how to put on a show. When I get into the next episode, not the next episode of FM, but one of these next episodes, we start talking about the Slow Rush and how that was performed live. Woo, man. But let's stay on track right now. Let It Happen goes into Nangs. Is it something more than that? Or is it something more than that? That shit is fire. The Moment comes in, you get your 2-step going on, that shit bopping. It's like, it's crazy, bro. I think what's so amazing about this album to me was, from a person who makes music, there's a type of beat I really like to make and listen to, like very much a boom bap type older sound. That's the one that always typically carries me in. This was one of those ones that doesn't always have that. Like, you do have it later on down the stretch when we'll talk about those songs, like New Person, Same Old Mistakes, but like, a lot of these kind of force different drum patterns and force different styles, and at that point that like let me evolve and get more range as a person who, 1, made beats, and 2, just listen to music in general. Shit was amazing. After that, you had Yes I'm Changing, so now you're mellowing out. It's kind of cool. Like, The Moment you was high stepping, bop 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 bop, like dun 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 dun, like shit was cool. Yes I'm Changing comes, you calm down, then you get into Eventually. Eventually is probably, I don't know if it's their best song that Tame Impala does live, but I know every time we get to that part when they do it live and the nigga comes in, eventually, fam, I've never been to a concert in my life where the whole shit erupted the way that it does when this song comes on. Like, everybody and their mama hitting that note, very struggle-like, by the way. Niggas be hitting it terribly. But they still hit it, and it's wonderful, and we all do it in unison. 10 out of 10 would do again. Like, Eventually is just one of those that, like, man, if I talk about moments in time so much with music, but Eventually just really kind of captures that. Like, and I know that I'll be happier, and I know you will too. This is one of them songs, bro. If you going through it from a relationship standpoint, you in for a ride, my nigga. After Eventually leads into Gossip. If I'm not mistaken, Gossip is the one that's just kind of like an interlude to an extent. Very much chill, it's calm, like you know you leading into something. Gossip is really great for live because that's the song he typically uses to lead into some hype shit after the fact, which is the next song The less I know, the better. Going into this, I didn't realize the severity of the less I know, the better until maybe like a year or two ago. It was always fire for me personally, and I never really paid attention to stats and numbers like that, but I didn't realize that the less I know, the better was actually a single for the album, which, by the way, that shit got millions of views on YouTube. The minute I was watching a show on Netflix called Summertime, they slid the less I know, the better in there, like as one of the songs in the background. I was like, oh, this nigga is out here, bro. Tame Impala for me was one of those bands that when I was like really listening to it, I thought like, oh, okay, it's a little niche. A lot of niggas probably don't fuck with them like that. Even though, you know, New Person, Same Old Mistakes, it had placements and commercials and stuff. But when I started looking at the numbers, I'm like, oh shit, no, this nigga is not, he is like full blown, like from a stat standpoint, like he doing a lot better than a lot of your favorite artists, and rightfully so. Fam, the way the less I know, the better starts off. Down. Like, come on, fam. Like, bro, she was holding hands with Trevor. Not the greatest feeling ever. Better try your luck with Heather. Oh, the less I know, the better. Man, oh my God, I love this song so much. After the less I know, the better is Past Life. Past Life is a vibe too. A very more speaking song until you get to the hook, the from a past life. It's cool. And mind you, as we're going through here, none of these songs are really that much skippable per se. Like, there's some songs where it's like, okay, I'm spinning this way more than the others. Like, of course, I'm going to listen to The Moment more than I'm listening to Gossip. Gossip being just an interlude. I'm probably listening to a lot of these more than I'm listening to Yes, I'm Changing. And I'm probably listening to a lot of these even also more than the next song, Disciples. Which Disciples is cool, don't get me wrong. Disciples reminds me of a very summertimey type vibe. Disciples gives me more so like, yo, you on the beach, like somebody pulling up with a soda pop, bringing it to you. Very red, white, and blue-esque, I guess. I don't know. Like glizzies just frying off in the wind somewhere. Something like that. Cool vibes. Very summer-esque. Like summer at the beach. That's the way to put it, actually. Summer at the beach sounds about right. Disciples then leads into Cause I'm a Man, which is another one that's cool. I mean, like, Cause I'm a Man to me is also one of those that I don't listen to too much. It's not a bad song by any means, but it's not one of the ones that I'm like, yo, I am on top of this every single which way. Like, I'll spin this to the death. Like I said, I'm listening to The Moment more. I find myself now listening to Let It Happen a little bit more than usual. Although I feel like Let It Happen is much better live than it is when you listen to the actual song itself, just because of the whole ambiance. But now we get to this 3-part stretch. There's a 3-part stretch on this album, which is undefeated. I haven't seen too many artists pull off shit like this where they have like a 3-part stretch of songs where it's like, you're not skipping this, you're not skipping this, you're not skipping this at all. The first one comes in. Soon as the song starts, doom, 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 boom. Then he gets to the actual hook. Nigga looks you dead in your face and says, there's no one else around you. I've been on his way and vision never faded. Bro, Reality in Motion is really that one, dog. Like, Reality in Motion was another one of them songs that I really wasn't like all the way on top of until the later on down the stretch when I started listening to this album. And now I'm like, yo fam, every time I play this album, this is the starting song that I'm running to if I want to listen to that 3-part stretch. Reality in Motion really just sets the tone for the end of the album. These last two that pop up, none of this shit is skippable at this point. Reality in Motion goes in. The synths, everything behind it is just crisp. It's like beautiful, it's rich. The whole album is very synth-based, very pad-based, very airy in that sense. It's beautiful. The way he kind of layers his vocals on it to give you that ghostly, airy vibe to it. Shit is cool. A lot of people try to replicate that now to I don't want to say to success, but nobody's doing it like Kevin does. Now, that being said, I mentioned I like really got back into this again because of my homie Rachel. Her favorite song on this album. The next song comes. Bro, this nigga looks you dead in your face, grabs you by your hand, tells you, I may not be as honest as I ought to be now that when the walls come up, I said it didn't worry me, but it hit me like an avalanche. Oh, I could just be paranoid, won't quell the desire to know what was really going on. Does it really fucking matter? Yes, all you can ask me. Okay, let's play. Here we go. Like, come on, bro. Nigga, that whole run of Love Paranoia, when I tell you, fam, if you hearing that shit and that don't speak to your soul, you ain't got no soul, nigga. You wasn't outside for this album, bro. You wasn't outside for this song, bro. You didn't have that moment having to talk to shorty all in the middle of an argument. You gotta sit there like, yo, fam, I know I may not be as honest as I ought to be, like, and I know the things that you telling me don't really, I tell you that they don't really hit me the way that they do, but them shits really be hitting, my nigga. Like, I don't like you talking to that one nigga that's sitting in the cubicle alongside you. Please don't fuck him. That's the way you looking right now, bro, and it's okay, fam. This is a safe space for us to talk about it. That nigga beating your queen down on the lunch table, but that's beside the point. She coming home to you talking about RPOs and football, and you like, yo, where did she even get that from? Yeah, okay. Hate that for you, bucko. Focus on yourself, king. Yeah. Bro, Love Paranoia, that's one of them ones for real. I'm not even gonna lie to you, G. Love Paranoia, that shit sit with a nigga. Like, fam, I knew what it was. It wasn't Love Paranoia that did it, but I'm gonna talk to it more. My experience going to the Slow Rush concert, I seen grown ass men, big buff niggas, bro. Them niggas got shirtless and started singing the good word of Kevin Parker at a concert. I was like, oh, this nigga got everybody at the palm of his hands right now. It don't matter. I seen thugs in that shit, bro. I done seen some real ass niggas at the Tame Impala concert, and it was cool, bro. It was a vibe. But unfortunately, all albums do have to come to an end at some point. But when you have your album come to an end with a song like this, I'm running that bitch right back, right from the top, repeat. First of all, I'm running this song back, and then I'm gonna start from the top once over to enjoy the things that I've enjoyed a while back. Let's talk about New Person, Same Old Mistakes. Now, I don't really do too much lyrical breakdown on this. I'm putting my vinyl down, don't mind me. I don't really do too much lyrical breakdown on these songs, but this nigga looked you dead in your face and said, and I'm not even gonna sing this shit because I don't want to even discredit the good word he talking about. He looked him dead in the face and said, I can just hear them now. How can you let us down? But they don't know what I found or see it from this way around. Feeling it overtake all that I used to, like, bro, this nigga telling you like, yo, fam, I understand that shorty I'm dealing with right now, we not really supposed to be together like that. Like, this is a move that's not supposed to be made, but I'm gonna do it anyway. She making me feel like a brand new person, even though I'm making the same old mistakes that I made with the last shorty. A lot of you niggas is out here making that mistake, nigga. Leave his ass, queen. The fuck? This nigga got condom wrappers in the backseat of the car. You sitting here wondering what's going on. He telling you he fitting it for practice purposes for you. You like, okay. No. Focus on yourself, queen. Don't do it. New Person, Same Old Mistakes was the one song that really had me hooked on Tame Impala. And it's not even my favorite anymore, considering the other songs that he's made and put out and the other songs I had to go back to and listen to. When we talk about the Slow Rush, I'm going to get into that. But New Person, Same Old Mistakes is such a dynamic piece. Bro, Rihanna even made a cover of that shit for her album, bro. This was on Anti. She had Same Old Mistakes. Her copy was good too, G. Like, she did it justice. At that point, when I seen that happened, I'm like, yo, this nigga Kevin is official. Past this, all of a sudden, he's starting to get collabs with niggas like Travis Scott. I'm seeing him being used like every single which way. Everybody sitting here like, yo, when's the next album coming? Like, that 5-year wait of having to wait from Currents to the Slow Rush, niggas don't realize how long that was, bro. Like, that was a long ass time it felt like getting the next album that we got. And it delivered too, by the way. But at the same time, bro, when we was waiting, niggas was sitting at the edge of our seats like, yo, when we get new Kevin, when we get new Kevin. We got the B-sides of the of Currents, and that was good too, don't get me wrong. We got now I gotta add you to my list of people to try and forget about. Like, that was great. It was awesome, but niggas needed that next step. But it felt good knowing that before we got the Slow Rush, that next album, Currents really held us down, and it's still holding us down to this day. Even in his newest concerts, he was doing current songs, and I'm grateful and glad that I was able to even experience that in my lifetime twice. And I'm gonna keep on experiencing that. The next time this nigga got a concert, we out there, bro. I could sit here and talk about this shit all day. I could talk about what it's done for me. I could talk about what it's doing for me now, what it's going to continue to do for me. All I'm going to do is implore you to listen to this album if you haven't already. And I'm not talking about just the same old 1 or 2 songs, but I want you to listen to the album in full and really listen to what he's saying. Really listen to that. Like, really kind of dig in and just let the vocals take its way. Listen to what he's saying. Listen to the actual sense and everything behind it. I want you to take all of that into consideration and like see what I'm feeling when I'm telling you that this is like a premier album of our generation. But most importantly, what I really want you to do above all of this shit, make sure you keep your head in the clouds.